I want to take you on a journey into the liminal. No, the subliminal. But to do that, we have to go back. The year is 2022, November. The Backrooms trend is at its trendiest.
The Backrooms, okay, the Backrooms. Dingle, dangle, dingle, dangle.
You're scrolling through TikTok when all of a sudden you see it. A beautiful hallway with the tagline, a realistic backroom simulator game. Surely that hasn't been done before. But it piques your interest. Let's see here. Game beta coming soon. Alright, 2 weeks go by. Some more posts and oh, look at that. Beta in a month. On Steam. And it's also $3 to $10. Splendid. That fits a lot of other similar titles. A few days later, another post. 2 years spent on the game's development so far by one person. Interesting. That post got quite a lot of attention. More and more posts, and it's safe to say that people are very excited.
Jingle, jangle, jingle, jingle.
Full release seems to be a few months away. 7 levels done already, and the full release is looking to have 20. And now we have a name. Get ready. Subliminal. Trailer looks nice. Cool logo.
Look familiar?
I'm sure that won't come up again. Okay, well, it looks like I just need to wait a few weeks, and oh, it's the alpha that's ready in a week. Not the beta. The day for alpha comes and goes. Well, where is it? Let's look on Steam. Not there either. TikTok says head to Instagram. Release updates. There's a delay. Oh, look, there is a beta on March 1st. Not exactly the 1 month that was said, but whatever. And the alpha is now on January 15th, but on Patreon. Patreon is its own thing to wrangle with, and since most people won't see what's on it, we're gonna leave it out until later. The 15th comes. And another delay to the 20th, then the 25th. Finally, it opens 2 days later. Testing is being done on Patreon again, but I, a lowly generate, will have to settle on waiting for the beta on Steam. Just kidding, it's been pushed back to summer. This is getting a little out of hand, so let's get to the point. Summer comes, and there is no beta. July comes, and the game is delayed to late 2023, but at least there is confirmed to be a team working on this. August comes, and the gameplay trailer drops. Yes, finally! It looks so refined, so polished, so real. But no release date. Instead, we are directed to a brand new TikTok account for news on the game, Subliminal Plus. Lots of good stuff asked and answered here. $5 to $15 is the new price, a little over that earlier range, but I'm sure this one sticks. It doesn't. The website now reads $15 to $20. Now for the big one. When is it coming out? We are given a time frame.
I need MC to stand up! Because it's so
How generous. Then it's official. Early 2024. 3 years of hard work coming to an end. 2023 ends and we finally enter the new year. January 2024. Subliminal Plus posts a TikTok.
Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
It gives multiple release dates with little explanation to previous posts. Closed beta now in March, PC release in April, and then VR and console release in Q3 of 2024. Okay, well, surely this sticks. Nope. In February, it's delayed again. Now to late 2024. Posted in their Discord. Most of the public actually found out about this delay a month later from a TikTok and Instagram, since not everyone is on Discord. I digress. I'm sure there will be no more confusion. What does Subliminal Plus have to say about this? Oh, nothing. In fact, this account posts exactly one more TikTok on April Fools as a joke, and then hasn't posted since. Meanwhile, back on the main account, loads of posting, some with new areas, most just rehashing a lot of old stuff we've already seen, and people are noticing. It's never releasing, some say. I don't quite like you, says others. It's all kinda coming apart, isn't it? Well, how about this? We give them one more shot. I'm sure this time they will get it right. The year flies by, and then August comes. Bang! The official Subliminal pre-release trailer is out. Look at those views. Let's take a look.
Ah, I see you've made it to the waterworks. Please, don't be shy. Try out a few of those whirling water slides you loved so much.
Wait, I know that voice.
Expecting someone else?
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce.
Isn't that Dr. Glenn Pierce from the other hit game Subliminal? I'm not the only one pointing this out. And they're not exactly denying it either. This game actually has no connection to Subliminal, by the way. They just happened to hire the same voice actor to play what appeared to be a similar role. Nonetheless, the trailer is here. And the release date? Christmas! They were definitely right about late 2024. Now, before we get to Christmas, let's catch up on some Patreon news. I can't show any of it, but it is there. 700 plus people can agree with me. Apparently, there was going to be a content creator demo released too on October 24th. Then October speeds through. No demo. November 1st, we get a delay. The content creator demo will be ready in 2 to 3 weeks. Jesus, okay, whatever, let's see it.
Let me see it!
Spoiler alert, it never sees the light of day. December is here, Subliminal release time. Also, they've rebranded their dev team to Accidental Studios. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We are a week and a half away from release. I'm sure nothing will go wrong on this Friday the 13th. But then, a Patreon announcement. They're changing their approach to releasing Subliminal. We're still getting it on Christmas, but only a tiny bit of it. The official prologue, they're calling it. A polished, standalone experience to introduce us to the world. I have an issue with this though. Patreon is the only platform you can find this news. Nothing on TikTok, nothing on Twitter, nothing on Instagram, nothing on the website, not even YouTube. The closest you'll get is a vague announcement on Discord simply stating some timelines are changing with nothing to go off of. So unless you're paying them, you still think the game is coming out on Christmas. And you're not the only one. December 22nd, 3 days before release, a huge announcement from Accidental Studios is shared on Discord, Twitter, and Patreon. We have some unfortunate and potentially upsetting news regarding the public Subliminal build. First and foremost, miscommunication between Accidental Studios and our publishers caused confusion internally regarding the timeline of Subliminal and by extension its release. Due to this, our publishers would not have been able to localize everything in time for a global release. As a result, there will unfortunately not be a release this Christmas. That's right, no game on Christmas, no prologue on Christmas.
What? No.
But there's more. We have spent the last 2 weeks communicating with our publishers and determining the best way to move forward, ensuring that something like this does not happen again. Everyone is now on the same page, and we are committed to providing more reliable information in the future. You should have been on the same page already. They plan on doing a Discord Q&A with some of the team where they can give information, discuss the game, and actually display what they've been working on. They do address that content creator demo, though. Lastly, the content creator demo scheduled for November was canceled, as we want videos to hold off until closer to Subliminal's release. Which means in November, they knew the game was never going to release in December and waited until 3 days before to announce it.
It's not my fault. It's your fault!
You can probably guess how people responded to that one. It gets worse. That public explanation was pretty vague.
I don't know.
But don't worry, the loyal patrons will get a much better one. Hear ye, hear ye. As patrons, we believe you deserve a more fleshed out explanation. This probably should have just been the case for every platform when it comes to an announcement like this, but let's keep going. I'm going to paraphrase, but basically the issue is still with publishing. Apparently both marketing and publishing teams were misinformed and assumed it to be a full release when the dev team intended on a partial release. You know, that prologue. Additionally, their publishers are also very amateur and based in Asia and do the majority of their marketing for Asian countries. In fact, you can find Subliminal on the Chinese Bilibili site. That's not all. Remember those jingle bells at the end of the pre-release trailer? the one that clearly insinuated a Christmas release? According to Accidental Studios, they were told that the jingle bells don't necessarily signify Christmas in Asia, so the publishers assumed this was less of a release announcement and more of a teaser to the general time frame Subliminal would release. Wait, hold on, what? Everyone thought it was coming out on Christmas. This is not an explanation. Not only that, but it doesn't make sense. This was less of a release announcement and more of a teaser to the general time frame Subliminal would release? What do you mean? Even if this was an announcement to the general time frame, you blew that date too. They then go on to blame it on localization issues, when we know now that development just wasn't finished at all. They say that they aren't going to release any of it now without knowing it will be ready. They aren't even going to give us a date. Then they follow that up by giving us a date anyways. They say that they are now shooting the prologue toward the upcoming Steam Next Fest due in February and March.
Delusional? Of course I'm delusional!
I looked through more of the Patreon and found a demo for the game. Well, shit. Why hasn't anyone covered? Oh, an NDA. They won't let you share footage from the alpha nor the demo. The demo's good, but apparently it's also a year old as well. Is this really how it's supposed to be? It's coming up on 3 years now. A total dev time of 5 years. The game hardly looks complete. The trend is over, and most people are just angry, frustrated, and left feeling like they were led on. And they should. That's exactly what Accidental Studios did. So it begs the question, where did it go wrong? I gathered my findings, organized them into a list, and sent it out to their server. I had 3 goals: concisely lay out the delays and statements made, get answers on as many as I can, and then figure out what is really going on behind the scenes. I come to you today saying that I believe I partially succeeded. Let's start with an easy one. Is the game real? Yes, actually, at least some version of it. There's plenty of evidence of this on Patreon and an entire semi-working demo. Next, marketing. Now personally, I don't have too much room to talk. The Kintark 3 on my own channel went through a few delays, but I learned from it, which is why the Dark Age is as silent as it is. It is ready when it is ready. But this isn't exactly the stance Subliminal went for. Instead, they have a few other people managing the socials. This leads to marketing that isn't synchronized and generally all over the place. Hell, TikTok hasn't dropped an update since last October. The last we saw on Instagram was in November. Subliminal Plus is... we'll leave it where it is. Point is, they're not doing a good job. Emphasis on the job thing. Apparently, some of the social team is meant to be getting paid. But they're not. That's right. Free marketing for the CEO of game delays. The reasoning? Funding. Okay, well, hold on. There's like over 700 paid members on Patreon. At the least, that's somewhere near $3,500 a month. Where is all the money going? Okay, I think it's time we cover Sven.
And who's the funky-looking donkey over there?
That's Sven?
Sven is the name of the developer behind Subliminal. That's right, developer. Singular. At least for some time, that is. He's been getting the money. The real reason they settled with the publishers that they did is because they supplied something that Sven's vision desperately needed. Funding. Now that I have the social team's attention, I ask why they sent another date after all the hoopla from the last few ones. Apparently this was actually a publisher decision. But then they go on to say that it's actually more of an intention thing, likening it to an if it all goes well situation. So why did the other dates even go up? Well, it's Sven.
Uh-huh. And who's the reindeer?
Sven?
Oh, okay. Make things easier for me.
Even the social team acknowledged his problem and expressed that they would have done things much differently. Sven has promised quite a lot, and has already went back on some things. Most obvious the pricing, but also the content. Back in 2022, he said that 7 floors were already ready. Then the game was expanded to 20. Now it's down to 8. At this point, if 7 were done, how hard could it be to release the game with just 1 more level? Their explanation? They swapped engines and a complete overhaul was done halfway through development. However, some floors from before are still being marketed. What's the deal? Well, apparently they expanded and combined some levels to meet a much higher quality. And this is where the trouble becomes double. Sven has promised a high standard, and you will find their socials reposting things about being patient for a great game. The other devs also share this sentiment. And admittedly, there are many that are fine with waiting because they are just sure that this game will be groundbreaking, change the culture, maybe even win some awards. But there's a catch with that. Now, all of a sudden, you can't just do good anymore. You're now being expected with fantastic. In the pursuit of greatness, you may just fail on delivering good. You are being compared now with both the best outcomes and the worst. But you see, this is Sven's and a lot of others' beginning voyage into the industry. Fantastic is quite the bar for your first outing. Even those hating on the product and still interested in buying are expecting nothing less of unbelievable. Let's take some stock here. Subliminal is a game 5 years in development, promises 8 floors, around a $20 price tag, with amazing optimization and future support for VR and console releases. That's a lot, especially for so few people. I can sympathize with making mistakes and finding your way to the finish lines. They clearly overshot and had to restructure, but the goalposts keep moving anyways. On top of that, patrons have been paying through each delay, while some on the team don't even see a dime. Goodwill can only take you so far, and now trust has completely fallen into the gutter. I see one of 3 things happening. 1, the game never releases. 2, the game releases and is fantastic. The gaming community is blown away, and all this trouble will have been worth it. Or 3, the game releases and it is okay. Or worse yet, it's bad. If that is the case, any standing affection and trust from Accidental Studios fans will be flown out the window before they barely started. I reached out to Accidental Studios and properly told them I'd be making this report. I asked them for their side of the story, specifically Sven's. I asked about missing payments. I didn't get an answer from most. Those that did respond did not want to talk about it, which I respect. As of this video's release, the game is still not out. I harbor no disdain towards the devs or mods or anyone on the team. They were very helpful and informative where they could be. I just thought this needed to be said. At the end of the day, it's a brand new indie studio with their first ever game. There's bound to be mistakes. I truly hope this game comes out and that is everything Sven and the team dreamed it could be. If they're right, they have something special on their hands. I actually really enjoyed the demo. There's a lot of directions they can go with it. And I don't think they deserve all the hate they get, but they do deserve to be held accountable. This is their project, their baby. They get to do with it as they please, even if that means redoing most of their work multiple times. Sentiment is rather down, but I'm confident it releases sometime in 2025. And who knows? They're off to the races now. The car, after all, does look good, but most people just can't see under the hood. And to top it all off, there is a substantial lack of a finish line. This is my first real journalistic video type thing. I'm not sure how many more of these I'll do, but I did want to give it a shot. I had a lot of inspiration from Internet Historian and his videos and a bunch of other internet essays. Some other stuff I didn't exactly get to cover, but because of just the time that I was editing this video, they did end up having that Q&A, but it ended up really being more like a fan Q&A with questions of like, oh, what are you going to do if Subliminal wins an award? What's your favorite part of working on Subliminal? None of the actual developers were on the Q&A, and any Q&A questions that were directed to them that were development related were labeled as such, and they either couldn't answer it or the people that could answer it just weren't on the panel. So the most news we got was that the 2 publishing companies that we mentioned earlier are kind of actually a part of a bigger one, but they made these 2 split off specifically for Subliminal, which I don't know how much I actually believe that. But I wanted to give you an update on that at least. Other than that, there's still nothing else to work off of. I do want to thank you for watching, and let me know if you like this type of content and if I should do more of it. I will be covering Subliminal on the channel when it does eventually release, if it does. But, yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.